Time for a beer from a brewery whose beers I have not tasted yet, so that is exciting. This is Crafty Bear. Up next. Hey, welcome back to Views and Brews. I am Brendan, and this is an interesting one from me because I have not tried this beer. It's from a brewery called Crafty Bear. They started off a couple of years back and they had their beers in bottles with a very kind of like homebrew-esque type labeling on. Now I'm seeing these really cool designs, nice can wraps and canned beers. This one is a West Coast IPA. It is exactly the type of beer that I love. I love that piney, resinous bittering and that citrus sort of edge. Like all different styles as well, but I have a particular fondness for West Coast IPA, so I'm really hoping this beer ticks all the boxes. Let's get it into the glass. Now, you'll see, this is a fairly big glass in fairness, but this is a dinky little can. I could probably manage a 440 can of this, but it is kind of like, I call these pick and mix beers. The first thing I'm gonna note is something that reminds me of the old school style West Coast beers, and that is the color of this. There is a depth of character of the malt in it. Now, not to be confused with a pale ale where the malt balances and supports the hops. In your typical West Coast IPA, you have a depth of colour and character from the choice of malts that have gone in here. Now, I don't know what he's used, but traditionally there would have been some type of unfermentable malt gone in here. And maybe he's gone the crystal routes, and maybe he's just gone for... I mean, there's no way that's just pale ale. There's something else in here. It has a kind of like a egg yolk orange tinge to it, slightly hazy, and there's an oily slickness to the foam on top, and it's thick and it's dense and it's almost tinged orange as well, kind of like totally different to an East Coast IPA, and it really gives you that old school aroma to it. You just instantly know on the nose. Now, I will do some digging around and see what hops are in here, but I've no idea what he's gone ahead and put in here. So let's just give it a go and see what it's like. On the nose, there's a sweetness to it. So there's obviously, I feel like there's some crystal malt in here or some kind of unfermentable malt that has given there a bit of sweetness on the nose. There's a bit of fresh, resiny pininess going on in here. Some kind of light citrus. Not too in your face on the nose. Not like an East Coast IPA. Anyway, cheers, Slancher. Let's give it a go. This is a palate coater. This is the type of beer where I'm going to take a few sips of it, and I know that as I drink it, the flavour is going to build on my palate because there's bitterness in it. Bitterness builds. Bitterness is, so obviously you get flavours and aromas, but they are largely as a result of the sensory memories that you have of different types of flavours. So you taste them, but what you're actually tasting on the tongue is different. So you get the salty, sour, bitter, umami, and whatever. And really the first thing that you get on the taste buds here is bitterness. Okay, so that is the ultimate difference between this and an East Coast IPA. So before I've even taken a second sip, I know that my whole experience of this beer is going to be based around the bitterness of it. There is kind of a mouthfeel going on in there. Let's have a second sip, but I just wanted to tell you what my initial impression was. It is oily. It's resinous. Perhaps a bit of light. No, there's a bit of pine going on in here. but there's definitely a bit of citrus and a bit of pungent hops going on in here. Traditionally in West Coast style IPAs, it's those old school hops, Cascade, Centennial, you know, maybe Chinook, maybe not, Simcoe, Amarillo, Citra, these types of hops. Simcoe is an interesting one because that's quite pungent, and it gives, there's a pungency to this that I feel like it's going to build. And kind of, it's that kind of sticky, oily, sweet kind of marmalade, resiny, orangey, but like cooked orange, cooked citrus, piffy, a bit grapefruit. Goes in many directions, but nothing specifically. Just goes in all directions of those kinds of ideas. It's a West Coast IPA, absolutely. This is your absolute classic West Coast IPA with that sort of orange tinge to the color of it, and a kind of like a slick oiliness on top of the foam. And it coats the palate, but it doesn't actually, it's not in any way harsh or offensive. There's no harsh tones to it at all. Let me just give that one more. There's a bit of dankness to it as well. It's pungent, and I know that there are certain hops that are pungent. Centennial is pungent. Summit is pungent. I'm not sure if Summit's in here, maybe. Simcoe is pungent. Citra is quite, not pungent, it's quite strong and assertive. I don't know what hops are in here. It's very, very difficult to tell because a lot of them are in the bittering. If you try an East Coast IPA, you get a definite style, because you can say, oh, this is stone fruit, this is all citrus, or this is all tropical. But this heads in multiple different directions and has like an amalgamation of dank, pungent, resinous, piney. It's a little bit citrus, I will say, a little bit like very mild tropical going on, very mild, but citrusy, marmalade, those kinds of ideas. This is very reminiscent for me of Vietnam from Trouble Brewing, except Vietnam is like 5 times the bitterness of this. It's like an assault of hops on your palate, whereas this one retains a bit of drinkability to it. There is sweetness going on. It is nice. It's a nice beer. I'm enjoying it. That's my view on this brew. West Coast till I die. Cheers, Slanchens. On to the next one.